Welcome friends, Bob here, bobsplumbingvideos.com, and in this video I want to show you how to remove a stubborn flange bolt. So let's say you're going to remove your tank and bowl because maybe you're going to address a leak, maybe change the wax gasket, or perhaps maybe just put a new tank and bowl in. So first things first, if you have these caps on here, you're going to have to pop them off. So I'm going to come in here with my trusty Leatherman tool. I'm going to pop this cap off, and there's your flange bolt. Now bear in mind, this is a nice shiny new bolt, but in the real world this is corroded, it's all crudded up, and chances are this nut is not going to release from the bolt. So you will come in there first with your straight pair of pliers and we will attempt to remove it. And what's going to happen in 90% of the cases, especially on an old job, the whole bolt is going to continue to turn and the nut's going to continue to turn. They're not going to be free from one another. So what do? In that case, you have pretty much one choice, and that's to cut the bolts off. So your first inclination might be to go in there with the good old full-size hacksaw, which I will do on occasion if I have the room, and you want to get your blade in between the nut and the friction washer there and cut away. Now you have to be careful, because if you happen to hit the porcelain with your hacksaw blade, you are going to mark it up something fierce, and that's going to be a tough thing to get off. Now if you're going to put a new tank and bowl in, not an issue, hack away. But if you're going to put the same bowl back, you have to be very careful. So for the sake of trying not to mark up my tank and bowl, I will use my little mini Lennox hacksaw. I'll come in here with my little fine blade, and I'll get under there and I'll continue to hack away. But sometimes I don't have the room to get that blade in between the nut and washer. And again, even with the mini hacksaw, I have to make sure I don't hit the porcelain with the frame of that saw. You know, the back of that saw can actually put some pretty nasty scuff marks in the porcelain. So if I have the room, I will most certainly try to hack it off horizontally, but most times I don't have the room, and in that case I'm going to come and I'm going to make a vertical cut right down the center of the bolt, right down the center of the nut, right down to the friction washer. And after I get that cut in there, we're gonna pop that open with a screwdriver. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to do that up on the vise on the workbench in this next segment. So stand by, and I'm going to show you how you can just slice down the middle of the bolt and down the middle of the nut without actually marring anything, and get the job done with the least amount of pain. So stand by, I'll see you up on the bench. Okay, so here we are up at the vise on the bench, and you've determined that the nut will not, get that? The nut will not release from the bolt, and the bolt keeps turning. It's just going to turn and turn and turn, spin around. What do? Well, pretty much you have, you know, one choice generally, and that's to come in here with old Betsy and get that blade between the friction washer and the nut, and you can proceed to hack away, and just cut the bolt right off. Very simple. Doesn't take a lot of thinking. It's just that when you're on a toilet bowl down in a tight, cramped space, it's very difficult sometimes to get this hacksaw in the right position. So what I generally do, you know, if you can't get it from this way, or you can't come in from another direction, I don't know, you know, which way you're going to be working, you can certainly come in and try different directions. But I find what works for me best is my Lennox mini hacksaw, because I got a lot more room. I have a lot more options in terms of room. It's got a very fine little blade on it, and that gets in there, and you can just go in, go under there, and you can come in from any direction and cut that. But you know, with this, you still have to be concerned that, you know, this part of the saw doesn't hit the bowl, and you're not going to mark up the bowl. Again, if you're going to change the bowl, it doesn't make a difference. You can hack away. Don't worry about marking it up. But if you're going to reuse the bowl and you don't want to mark it up, what I find works for me very well is I will come in, and this I can do either with this, which will take a little longer, but I don't have to worry about marking anything up. But again, if we're going to change the bowl, I'll come in with the Big Daddy, and this is what I generally will do. I will come in, and we're gonna hack away at this, and we're gonna cut straight down. We're gonna cut straight down to the bolt, and Just bear with me. Hack away, hack away. So there, we did a little bit with the big baby, and let me show you. It can be done with the mini hacksaw. Just to show you, I'm not kidding around with you. And we're going to get down as far as we can. As far as we can. Actually, you want to get down to the friction washer. Right down to the friction washer. And this is the way it is in the real world, guys. You got to use a little elbow grease. So we're going to get down to the friction washer as far as we can go. And once we get down really, really far, and I think we're there, what I do is I will come in, I will get a screwdriver, usually a crappy little screwdriver, and I'll come in here and I'll give this a little, hopefully this will, pop for you. And if you can see this, I just took this nut off. And what we did, guys, is we split the nut in half. Just absolutely split it in half. Works all the time. Foolproof. And guys, that's the way it's done. So if you're having difficulty getting a set of flange bolts off, and if you can see, I barely nicked, excuse me, I moved my camera, but I barely nicked the friction washer. And actually, that's it. Now you're free to remove everything, lift the bowl, and proceed with the job at hand. So guys, that's it for this video. You're looking to get a bad flange bolt off, and you can't get the hacksaw underneath it, then you bore right through it. Very simple, guys. Very easy to do. Don't be afraid. I do it every day. Guys, I want to thank you for stopping by bobsplumbingvideos.com. I love you stopping by. Keep coming back. I want to see you guys in the next video. Take care. Happy plumbing.